We're discussing the life of the great
Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi.
Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi. It is Ahlul to the Sunnah. Says one of the reasons why he was granted so much barakah, he acted upon whatever he learned. Any hadith that he heard, he would try and he would act upon. He gave so much attention to emulating the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We discussed when he was building his guest house, and he was helping, right? He was assisting lifting the bricks, and the Talaba said, very enough for you. You don't need to do it. They say the reason why he did this, he said that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lifted up stones when the construction of Masjid al-Nabawi was taking place. So I'm emulating the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam here. He would practice archery. And he said the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam practiced archery, so I'm doing likewise. He would often ride horses as well, and he practiced archery on horseback. His private assistant would say, for as long as I have accompanied Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, I do not remember seeing his arrow miss the target except on 2 occasions. Muhammad ibn Abi Hatim said that he saw a dream. In this dream, the Prophet is in a dream. And he said, I saw Imam Bukhari in the dream, walking behind the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wherever the Prophet would place his foot, Bukhari rahmatullahi placed his foot in that spot. And it says that this dream Muhammad ibn Yusuf al-Firgari, who was a very close student of Imam Bukhari, said, I saw the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream. He asked me, where are you going? So I said, I intend to visit Muhammad ibn Ismail, in other words, Imam Bukhari. He said, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, convey to him my salam. It was his habit on normal days to perform 13 rakats of salah in the latter part of the night and the time of tahajjud. During Ramadan, his worship would increase. On the first night of Ramadan, his students would gather by him, and he would lead them in Taraweeh Salah. He would complete the Quran once in Taraweeh Salah by the end of the month. And then, along with Taraweeh during Tahajjud Salah, he would recite between half and a third of the Quran every night, ensuring that the Quran was completed every 3 nights. So between Taraweeh and Tahajjud, he would accomplish 11 completions. That's insane. In addition, during the day, he would complete it daily at the time of iftar. So it was a total of 41 completions by the end of the Ramadan. Once, subhanAllah, he was invited to a meal, and the meal was held in one of these gardens of one of his students. He led everyone gathered in Zohar Salah, and then he stood up to perform his nawaf and his optional salah. Upon completion of the salah, he lifted up his garment and said to one of his students that, look, do you see anything under my garment? So they checked and they realized that the Imam was stung by a wasp in 16 or 17 places, and his foot now becomes swollen. Someone said to him, when you found that first thing, why did you just complete that? He said, well, I had started the surah, I was in the middle of a surah, and I desired to complete it. He was very sincere. Once a person sitting in the garden of Imam Bukhari took out a straw grass from his prayer, and he threw it onto the masjid floor. Imam Bukhari saw it, and when the people were unaware, he went and he grabbed it, and he kept it inside the sleeve. Okay? He kept it inside the sleeve. And then when he got outside, then he threw it. And it wasn't the case that I'm too big for this, right? Or I'm doing it and showing people. It was then hidden, right? A very secret mind. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, he departed from this world in the year 256 after Hijrah in the vicinity of, in a small town in the vicinity of Samarkand. He passed away on the night of Eid al-Fitr and was buried the next day, which is the day of Eid al-Fitr. So the night of Eid al-Fitr, he passed away, he was buried the next day. He lived for exactly 13 days short of 62 years. So it's not like, subhanAllah, you know, the amount of work he's done, it's not like he lived for 80 and 100 years and 62 years. Imam Dhahabi narrates that Abdul Wahid ibn Adam said, I saw the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream for a group of Sahaba waiting in the place. I greeted the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered. And then I asked, that what is it you are waiting for, O Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He replied, I await Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. Remember, in those times, there's no phone and there's no social media that right away you get a message. So when news of travel, it would take a few days, especially from one end of the empire to the other end. He says a few days pass, and the news of this demise reached me. So I pondered upon the timing, and I realized that he had passed away at that moment when I saw the dream. Abu Mansur Ghalib ibn Jibreel says, Imam Bukhari stayed with us for a few days and fell ill. His illness increased in severity to the extent that a messenger was sent to Samarkand to request the transportation of Imam Bukhari. When he arrived, Imam Bukhari got ready to travel. Words that a song said, put on his turban. He had walked approximately 20 steps towards the animal while I was holding on to his upper arm together with another associate of mine. And then he said, let me go, for I am feeling very weak. He then read a few supplications, lying down and passed away. He was sweating profusely. He says, when we had buried him, a rich fragrance, more pleasant than musk, emanated from the soil of his grave, which remained for days afterwards. Also, from the side of his grave, long white pillars of Nur, which is the sky. People started to visit the grave in astonishment and would take salt from it. We could not keep the grave safe despite appointing people to guard it. We were left helpless. So then we raised a secure wooden fence around the grave so no one could reach it. But then the people would take the soil that was around the grave as they could not reach the grave. As for the fragrance, it emanated continuously for many, many days. It became the talk of the town. This incident came to the attention of those who opposed Imam Bukhari. Some of them then came to his graveside and showed their remorse upon despicable ways they had executed. There are some people who, like everyone, right? the Anbiya, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam had opposition, right? And that's the sunnah of Allah, right? There'll always be opposition. There'll always be people who oppose you. And but subhanAllah, and these people then realize that they saw, they went there by the grave. He's not there anymore. So we're gonna apologize to him. By the grave, pray for him. That's why before it's too late, let's mend our relationships with people. But subhanAllah, what stands out is on one hand is his academic excellence, and mashallah, what he's done for the ummah. But the real message and what we have to really take is that all of our great scholars who were at the loftiest position, they were brilliant individuals, they were good human beings. Their hearts were clean, they had generosity, they were selfless, they were kind, they were caring, they were compassionate. And most of all, they strongly held on to the sin of this Prophet. May Allah Ta'ala increase in us, in our hearts, a love for our pious princesses, and let us be able to walk their footsteps. I mean, so